When governments run out of money, they don't work harder. They don't innovate. They don't sacrifice. They print. And every time they do, you pay with your time, your savings, and your future. Because money printing isn't just an economic act, it's a transfer of power. From your pocket to theirs, from your effort to their illusion, from reality to control. Most people think printing money is about paper and machines. But the truth is, the real printing press isn't physical. It's psychological. It runs on belief. As long as you believe in the currency, the system can keep creating it from nothing. Because money is no longer backed by gold, resources, or production. It's backed by faith. And the government is the priest of that faith, turning confidence into currency and your trust into their balance sheet. The modern financial system is a masterpiece of invisible manipulation. When governments print money, they're not increasing wealth, they're reallocating it. Every new dollar dilutes the value of every existing one. Every stimulus check, every bailout, every economic rescue quietly steals from those who save and gives to those who spend first, the ones closest to the printer. That's not economics, that's alchemy. If this message is already challenging what you were taught, pause for a second and follow rich logic. Because understanding this one concept separates those who see the system from those who are consumed by it. Here's how the illusion works. When a government wants money, it doesn't actually print it directly. It borrows it from itself. It issues a bond, a promise to pay in the future. Then the central bank buys that bond with money it creates from thin air. So in essence, the government owes itself money it never had, and you pay the interest through taxes, inflation, and higher prices on everything you touch. It's a magic trick that makes debt look like growth and theft look like policy. The irony, governments don't create value, they extract it. Every printed dollar is a claim on your labor. It represents future productivity that hasn't happened yet. The more they print, the more of your time they own, without ever asking permission. Printing money isn't stimulus. It's time theft disguised as generosity. They call it quantitative easing. They say it stimulates the economy. But what it really does is transfer wealth upward, from savers to borrowers, from workers to speculators, from the real world to the financial elite. When money floods the system, asset prices rise first. Stocks, real estate, corporate valuations. The rich see their portfolios grow. The poor see their groceries shrink. That's the quiet violence of inflation, a weapon that fires silently, hits everyone, and leaves no fingerprints. Printing money is the perfect crime because it requires no approval, no confrontation, no resistance. You don't see it happen. You only feel it in your rent, your bills, your daily life. By the time you realize you're being robbed, the value has already evaporated. In 1971, the US government disconnected the dollar from gold. That was the day money became infinite. It also became meaningless. Before that, every dollar represented something tangible. Now every dollar represents trust. Trust that the people in power will act responsibly with a privilege that has never been used responsibly. They discovered they could fund wars, social programs, corporate bailouts, and political favors, not by collecting taxes but by quietly printing the difference. And the cost? It doesn't show up on the national debt. It shows up in the lives of ordinary people. Every generation since 1971 has lived under a currency experiment, one where money dies slowly and debt lives forever. You don't notice it year to year, but look at the long game. The house your parents bought for $80,000 now costs $500,000. Your salary hasn't kept up. Your savings can't compete. You're running faster just to stand still. That's not progress, that's policy. Governments sell you the illusion of generosity. They send stimulus checks. They increase public benefits. They call it help. But real help doesn't come from printing. Because when they print, they dilute the meaning of everything you already earned. They're not giving you money, they're replacing it. And each replacement is worth less. It's like putting more water in the soup and calling it refill. It feeds more people, but no one leaves satisfied. The tragedy is, most people don't see it. They think inflation is natural, that rising prices are progress, that a strong economy means more spending. But economies don't grow by printing money. They grow by creating value. Printing money doesn't create value. It recycles illusion. Here's the part almost no one talks about, the real reason governments print. They print because debt itself has become the economy. If the printing stops, the machine collapses. If credit contracts, consumption dies. If consumption dies, tax revenue collapses. And when taxes collapse, the government loses power. So they print not to grow the economy, but to keep the illusion alive. Printing is not stimulus, it's survival. For them, not for you. But the most dangerous side of all is psychological. When the government prints, people feel richer temporarily. They spend more, they invest, they take risks. But the wealth isn't real. It's borrowed confidence, and like all illusions, it fades. Then the crash comes, and the same system that inflated you now demands austerity, sacrifice, and higher taxes. It's a pendulum of manipulation. Inflate, extract, repeat. If this is connecting with you, like this video and subscribe to Rich Logic, because the only protection from illusion is understanding. Now here's what's truly sinister. When governments print money, they don't just print currency, they print behavior. Every injection of money rewires society. It changes what people value, how they think, and what they fear. During times of excess liquidity, people become careless. They chase trends, gamble, speculate. When liquidity dries up, they panic, shrink, submit. The government doesn't just manage money, it manages emotion. Because emotion drives markets, and markets drive obedience. Printing money has become a form of psychological governance. Think about it, they can make you feel safe or scared just by adjusting interest rates or announcing stimulus. They can reward loyalty by pumping markets before elections. They can punish rebellion by letting the cost of living quietly crush dissent. It's control through currency. The real problem isn't that they print too much money, it's that they've made you need it. They've built a society where everything costs more each year, so you must keep working, keep spending, keep borrowing, forever chasing a stability that no longer exists. That's the genius of fiat money. It doesn't just lose value, it makes sure you do too. But there's one thing even governments can't print: trust. And every time they abuse the privilege of creation, that trust dies a little more. People start looking for alternatives: gold, Bitcoin, hard assets, anything tangible. Because deep down, everyone knows the truth. When money can be created from nothing, value becomes fiction. And when value becomes fiction, civilization starts to fracture. Every empire in history has done this. Rome debased its silver. France printed its assignats. We print digits on screens. The technology changes, the pattern doesn't. When the government becomes the biggest counterfeiter in society, collapse isn't a possibility, it's a schedule. But here's the twist: the collapse never happens all at once. It happens slowly, so you mistake decay for progress. Every new generation accepts weaker money as normal. Every new policy blames someone else for the problem. And every new crisis becomes the excuse to print again. It's not chaos, it's choreography. Governments don't need your approval to print, they just need your silence. As long as people keep working, consuming, and saving in the same system, the machine keeps running. That's why education never teaches this. Because awareness is the one thing that inflation can't inflate away. The world isn't divided by rich and poor anymore. It's divided by those who understand the system and those who sustain it. The rich don't fight inflation, they profit from it. They own the assets that rise when your savings fall. They know that every printed dollar isn't a gift from the government. It's a transfer from the unaware to the aware. You can't stop governments from printing money, but you can stop believing that their generosity is real. Because the truth is, they're not printing to help you. They're printing to preserve themselves, and the bill always arrives, you just don't see it coming. So next time you hear about stimulus, relief, or economic recovery, remember this: they're not saving the economy. They're saving the illusion of it. And the illusion only survives because you keep playing your part. Printing money is not power. It's desperation disguised as control. And the moment people see through it, the spell breaks. Until then, the printing press keeps running. Not on paper, but on your faith.